Mara had always dreamed of having a beautiful garden. She imagined vibrant flowers, buzzing bees, and butterflies dancing in the sunlight. But life had been harsh on her garden. Season after season, her plants wilted. Weeds grew out of control, and the soil seemed too dry to support anything alive. Neighbors often shook their heads and whispered, "That garden will never bloom." At first, Mara felt discouraged. She thought maybe they were right, that she simply didn't have a green thumb. She considered giving up, letting the garden return to dust and weeds. But deep down, something inside her refused to surrender. She remembered her grandmother's words, "Sometimes the most beautiful things grow after a second chance." Determined, Mara began again. She cleared the weeds carefully, added fresh soil, and planted new seeds. Each day, she watered them patiently, talking to the plants as if they could understand her. It wasn't easy. Sometimes the soil cracked. Sometimes the sun was too harsh. But Mara refused to stop. She reminded herself that every small effort counted. Days turned into weeks, and small green shoots began to appear. Mara felt a thrill of hope every time she saw a new leaf or a tiny bud. She celebrated even the smallest progress, knowing that growth took time and care. One morning, a neighbor peeked over the fence. "Mara, is that a flower?" they asked, astonished to see a tiny bloom pushing through the soil. Mara smiled. "It's the start," she said softly, "but I promised to give my garden a second chance, and I think it's finally returning it." Soon the garden transformed. Roses, daisies, and lilies bloomed in a rainbow of colors. Bees buzzed happily. Butterflies flitted from flower to flower, and the air smelled of fresh earth and blossoms. People stopped by just to admire the miracle that Mara had nurtured with patience and love. Through the garden, Mara learned a valuable lesson. Mistakes, failures, and disappointments are not the end. They are opportunities to try again, to care a little more, and to grow stronger. Sometimes life itself gives us a second chance, but it's up to us to nurture it. By the end of the season, Mara stood in her blooming garden, breathing in the fragrance and feeling the warm sun on her face. She knew that the garden had not only flourished because of her care, it had taught her resilience, hope, and the power of persistence. From that day on, Mara applied the lesson everywhere in her life. Whether in friendships, work, or personal dreams, she remembered, if you nurture something with patience, even the smallest chance can blossom into something extraordinary.